Looks like we have almost a full house up here. We'll see if Shawana's on her way. But let's begin. Thank you, board, for coming. Department heads, we appreciate your attendance. Out in the audience, we have several visitors. Thank you for coming. We also have Scout Troop 14 in attendance and part of earning their merit badge. And I think we'll ask them to come forward and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I think Chief Wardlove has a microphone. And, oh, wait, we're going to hold you off for 1 second while we do a roll call so that Clerk Saladino can check that off the list.
Trustee Augustine.
Here.
Trustee Gale.
Here.
Trustee Katina.
Here.
Trustee O'Brien.
Here.
Trustee Peterson.
Here.
Trustee McGee. Absent now. And President Kukor.
Here. And we have a quorum. Thank you, Clerk Saladino. And now, if we can do the Pledge of Allegiance.
Can you now please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I forgot. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you. And well, keep the microphone so you can all introduce yourselves to the camera. I know that we got Bill Robinson and Tim Strudman as the leaders.
I'm Nora of Troop 14G. I'm the SPL.
What is the SPL?
I'm basically I'm the senior patrol leader.
Thank you, Noah.
Thank you.
I'm Eliza Robinson. I am the
I'm Maggie Betlinski.
I'm Ava Hogue. My name is Ronan Thomas.
My name is Jonas Collins.
My name is Matthew Strudeman.
My name is Henry James.
My name is Cooper Robinson.
My name is Zach Solis.
My name is Grayson Shepard.
I'm Tyson Swigard.
I'm Jacob Gale.
I'm Riley Delaney.
I'm Cora Magan. I'm Addie Whipple.
I'm Molly Sanchez.
Well, thank you, Scout 14. We do believe that you've made the record for the most scouts that have come to one of our meetings, so congratulations on that. I know Jacob's also Trustee Gale's son, so. So thank you for coming tonight. Thank you for your contributions to our community. As they say, the future is in your hands, so we do appreciate you getting involved. Thank you very much. Continuing on with the President's report, on Saturday we met from 8 o'clock to noon, the board did, and the department heads to go over the budget, both the capital and operating budget, not only for the next year, but proposed for the next 5 years. and we appreciate the efforts from everyone involved. The proposed budget invests in the village infrastructure and in the organization as a means to provide the best services to LaGrange residents in a manner that maximizes the value of the village's revenues. The proposed budget is available for review, anyone who's interested, at Village Hall and the library, as well as on our website. And a public hearing regarding the proposed 2022 to 2024 budget is scheduled for Monday, April 10th, with consideration of its approval scheduled for April 24th. So again, residents are welcome to comment regarding the budget. On stormwater, in the budget, there is funding for improving our sewer system, including the 50th Street Storm Sewer Project. Unfortunately, the trial has been delayed, and the next status is on May 3rd. We're hoping to have a decision either on that date or before that date. And we again continue to be hopeful that it'll be a favorable resolution, and we'll begin working on that project shortly thereafter. Happier news. We just completed the LaGrange Restaurant Week. The feedback regarding the LaGrange Restaurant Week was fantastic. Again, the dates were February 24th through March 5th. It was very successful, and the restaurants have reported that they had record sales, and it was fantastic. So we appreciate the restaurants and stores. There were retailers that participated. We appreciate that. We, of course, appreciate the LGBA for organizing and really shepherding that project through. And obviously, the both residents and all the guests that came in to enjoy Restaurant Week. Thank you for dining in LaGrange and shopping in LaGrange. The fire department has gone to work in conjunction with Go Green LaGrange to host a smoke detector recycling program. I believe it's our first time hosting this program. What it does, it allows anyone who has an old smoke detector, CO2 detector, to bring it to the fire station. They'll have a box, they'll collect it, and they'll make sure that it's appropriately recycled. That way, we'll ensure that those smoke detectors do not end up in our landfill. So it's a great program. It's a great example of our village working together with other organizations, and Go Green LaGrange is a wonderful organization, and so that's great. More exciting news, we would like to welcome our newest village employee, Kelsey Faywell. She's accepted the role of village planner and will be starting with us, or has already started with us. Kelsey came from Village of Highland Park. She'll work closely with the Plan Commission, the Zoning Board of Appeals, and the Design Review Commission. And Kelsey, I haven't met Kelsey yet. There she is. Kelsey, thank you for joining, and maybe we can give Kelsey a round of applause. Again, thank you, and we're looking forward to your contributions. Due to an expected light schedule, we will not be meeting in 2 weeks. We are going to cancel the Monday, March 27th meeting. The next regular scheduled meeting will be April 10th. That's Monday, April 10th, the second Monday in April. As I'm sure most kids know, we're getting around spring break time, and the schools will be closed. Kids will be around during the day, riding their bikes, walking across streets. We ask that the drivers, the people driving, pay extra special attention and make sure that everybody is safe. The board would like to wish both the parents and students of the children an enjoyable and restful spring break. And with that, I would ask, is there a village, one more thing that I wanted to add. On Wednesday, the Citizens Council is having an open forum for all the candidates running from Library, Park, and the Village Board. It's going to be in this room starting at 6:30, so all residents or interested parties are welcome to come out. And Clerk Saladino is telling me that we are also should this be during the president's report? Okay. Yep. He is reminding me that on my little sheet over here that before I pass over the microphone to Village Manager Knight, we will request a voice vote on our Mayor's Monarch Pledge. And the Mayor's Monarch Pledge program was launched in 2015 by the National Wildlife Federation, and it aims to engage cities and communities in monarch and pollinator conservation. I'm sure I could have asked some of the scouts what they've done around their house, but under the program, mayors and other heads of local and tribal governments take action to help preserve the monarch butterfly, an iconic species whose populations have reportedly declined by 90 to 99% in recent years. Through the program, communities throughout the country have committed to creating a habitat for monarch butterflies and pollinators and educating residents about how they can make a difference. Between 2015 and 2020, the program has welcomed over 600 mayors and heads of local and tribal government who engaged 6 million people and restored more than 6,500 acres of monarch habitat. And since the monarch's migration spans the United States, Mexico, and Canada, the pledge expanded to include all the countries in 2017. The steps that are going to be necessary for the village of Grange to take the pledge is, by doing so, we formalizes the village's commitment to restore habitat and encourage residents to do the same. Take action to support the National Wildlife Federation. By taking the pledge, we provide access to online resources, monthly newsletters, webinars, and more, and then report progress. Once actions have been taken, communities are asked to track progress throughout the year and submit an annual report by the 1st of December. The LaGrange staff has reviewed the provisions of the pledge and finds that they are consistent with the tenets of the Greenest Region Compact and ongoing sustainability initiatives. So the staff has recommended that the board approve, and at this time, I would entertain a motion to approve it.
I move we approve the motion to take the Mayor's Monarch Pledge as presented.
Thank you, Trustee Gale. Any seconds? Second. Thank you, Trustee Augustine. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? And of course not, and we're happy to say that it passes unanimously, and we will begin, as we've already begun, to do the Monarch Pledge. So with that, I would ask the Village Manager Knight if there's anything to report.
There is, and thank you, President Kukler, and good evening, everyone. Just a couple of notes on upcoming meetings. Plan Commission will meet at 7:30 p.m. here in the auditorium on Tuesday, March 14th. The Board of Fire and Police Commissioners will meet at 5:30 p.m. in the lower conference room on March 15th. That's a Wednesday. The Zoning Board of Appeals will meet here in this auditorium at 7:30 p.m. on Thursday, March 16th. Just a quick note on a brush pickup program that starts in April. Under the program, residents can place tree branches and shrub trimmings curbside for pickup on the first Monday of each month. Items are suggested to be placed out on the curb on Sunday evening, but must be placed out there no later than 7 a.m. Monday morning. There are specific requirements for participating in the program. Those can be found on our website. For further information, I'd suggest you visit there. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. At this time, I would ask Clerk Saladino to read the items on the consent portion of the agenda, followed by the current business items.
Matters on the consent agenda will be considered by a single motion and vote because they already have been considered fully by the board at a previous meeting or have been determined to be of a routine nature. Any member of the Board of Trustees may request that an item be moved from the consent agenda to current business for separate consideration. Item A, agreement by and between the State of Illinois, Indiana Harbor Belt Railroad Company, the Village of Grange, and the State of Illinois Department of Transportation regarding the Cossett Avenue crossing. Item B, material purchase, Public Works Department, fire hydrants. Item C, minutes of the Village of Grange Board of Trustees regular meeting, Monday, February 27th, 2023. Item D, consolidated voucher, 230313. Current business. This agenda item includes consideration of matters being presented to the Board of Trustees for action. Item A, resolution indicating municipal support for a Cook County real estate Class 6B property tax incentive to 9600 Ogden Avenue.
At this time, I would ask if there's anyone in the public that would like to come and discuss matters that are on tonight's agenda.
Thank you, President Kukler. I'm Bill Robinson. I'm the Scoutmaster for Troop 14B. And I did want to comment on the Monarch Pledge and let the Board of Trustees and the whole village know that we have 2 scouts in Troop 14 who will be executing Eagle projects over the course of the next 3 months that involve constructing pollinator pockets within the village. One, I believe, will probably be constructed at the First Presbyterian Church. And the other one will either be constructed at the First United Methodist Church or at the United Methodist Church Parsonage, which is at 50th and Kensington. But there will be scouts from Troop 14 in the next couple of months constructing pollinator pockets in the hopes of promoting pollinators and specifically monarch butterflies within the village. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. And hopefully they'll come and report to the village board, and we'll include that as part of our reporting to the National Monarch Association. So that's fantastic, and we do appreciate, again, all the scouts' efforts. Seeing no other comments, I would ask if there's a motion and a second on the consent agenda.
Make a motion to accept the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Thank you, trustees, and welcome, Trustee McGee. At this time, is there any discussion regarding the consent items?
Yes, President Kukler. As previously stated, I would recuse myself from voting on any agenda items regarding the village prosecutor. And then I did have one question about item A on the consent regarding the improvements to our railroad crossing at Cossett. I think I missed it, but when did it say that this work may begin, might begin?
I'm not sure. It looks like Director Colby's able to answer that question.
Thank you, and thank you for that question. The work's tentatively scheduled for September of this year.
Right.
Not seeing any other comments, I would ask
President Kukler.
Nope. Sorry about that. Trustee Gale?
Thank you, Mr. President. Similar question, Rick, for this railroad crossing. Is this a repair, replacement, an improvement? What's?
Correct. Yeah, it's an improvement to the current condition, a full rebuild of the intersection. They're estimating about 3 weeks in the September timeframe. There will be detour, but there is a crossing at Lincoln, one block to the north for Cossett during the duration. So really relatively less impactful.
All right, thanks.
Thank you, Trustee Gale. Not seeing any other comments or questions, I would ask Clerk Saladino to do a roll call vote.
Trustee Augustine.
Aye.
Trustee Gale.
Aye.
Trustee O'Brien.
Aye.
Trustee Peterson.
Aye.
Trustee McGee.
Aye.
Trustee Katina.
Aye.
And that passes unanimously. We have one item under the current business, and it relates to the property at 9600 Ogden Avenue. That's the property if you're heading east on Ogden. Will be on the north side, your left side, right as you cross over what I call the Ogden Avenue Bridge. And so I would ask Trustee Augustine to introduce that.
Thank you, President Kukler. Whole Cubes LLC is the applicant and the contract purchaser of the property at 9600 Ogden Avenue, the subject property in the village. The applicant is seeking support of its request for a Class 6B classification from the Cook County Assessor. The applicant plans to purchase the building and move its business of 6 full-time employees from its current location in DuPage County, LaGrange. A Class 6B classification results in the temporary reduction of the assessed value of a property, resulting in lower property taxes for a set period of time. The subject property is currently owned by 9600 West Ogden LLC and was previously occupied by Starkey Chemical. The Class 6B program is an economic development incentive program administered through the Cook County Assessor's Office. As they describe it, it is designed to encourage industrial development throughout Cook County by offering a real estate tax incentive for the development of new industrial facilities, the rehabilitation of existing industrial structures, and the industrial reutilization of abandoned buildings. The goal of Class 6B is to attract new industry, stimulate expansion and retention of existing industry, and increase employment opportunities. Properties that receive a Class 6B property tax incentive are assessed at 10% of market value for the first 10 years, 15% in the 11th year, and 20% in the 12th year. This results in significant tax savings. Without this incentive, industrial real estate is normally assessed at 25% of its market value. Class 6B incentive is available for, as we've said, construction on new industrial buildings or buildings that require substantial rehabilitation, or to reoccupy an essentially abandoned property. This current application requests village support of a Class B application based on the abandoned property and substantial rehabilitation of the property. The applicant has been in business since 2010, providing a full suite of services for office furniture, including space design, installation, and furniture refurbishment, in addition to sales of new and used furniture. The 9600 Ogden Avenue site is intended to serve as the company's headquarters and principal location for warehousing and distribution, including a showroom. The applicant intends to relocate its 6 current full-time employees from their location currently in Addison, which they rent. The applicant plans to add 2 to 3 new employees in their first year of operation at the new location and 2 more employees the following year, for a total of 4 to 5 new employees within the first 2 years in LaGrange. Some sales history and current status. According to a prior 6B application that was withdrawn prior to village board consideration, the property was initially listed for sale at $999,000 in 2014, and the asking price was adjusted downward while being marketed by 2 different real estate brokers over several years. At various times from 2015 to 2020, the Community Development Department received inquiries on the property from potential purchasers. The property is currently owned again by 9600 West Ogden LLC, who purchased the site for $600,000 in October of 2020. After completing building improvements, the property owner listed the site for sale at an asking price of $1,890,000. The property owner has provided a letter of support for the 6B application and is attached here. In this letter, the property owner states that since listing the property for sale in June of 2021, there have been only 2 serious potential buyers, despite aggressive marketing efforts and many preliminary inquiries about the property. The applicant is under contract to purchase the property for a price of $1,880,000. The applicant contends that a Class 6B incentive is necessary in order to make the acquisition of the property feasible. They have provided a summary of comparable properties reflecting that the current purchase price for the subject property is at or below market rate on a cost per square foot basis. There's more detail if anyone chooses to download the packet, they can read a lot more about comps and some of the details of this resolution. And I'm going to skip through to get to the essential stuff so that we can have a discussion. In 2019, the total property bill for the site was $44,000. The total tax property bill for the site was $44,716. In 2020, the taxes were reduced to $27,605 based on vacancy. In 2021, the property owner again successfully appealed the tax assessment based on vacancy, resulted in 2021 property taxes of just over $45,000. If the 6B incentive is granted, the 2023 property taxes are projected to be $59,707, roughly $15,000 more than it was in 2019 when the building was occupied. It should be noted that any changes in property taxes shown in the table reflect increased or decreased revenue from the subject property only. If the Class 6B classification is granted or property remains vacant, the decreased property tax revenue from the subject site would not reduce overall tax revenue to the village. The village levies for a set dollar amount, and therefore, if one property pays less taxes, then the property tax burden is shifted to all other properties in the village. In addition to property taxes, the applicant reports that in 2022, approximately $500,000 of their sales were subject to sales tax, and that sales are expected to grow in 2023. Annual sales of $500,000 would result in $10,000 in annual sales tax revenue for the village of Grange. Additionally, the applicant's materials include projections of employee spending that would result in approximately $1,000 or more in annual sales tax locally. Prior Class 6B approvals from this village board, only 2 other industrial properties in LaGrange currently receive a reduced assessment through Class 6B program, and that's Dubac Electrical at 10 North Beach and Billet Specialties, 501 Shawman Avenue. LaGrange board has been very careful to review and approve 6B requests for obvious reasons. In fact, the most recent one, for which I was on the board for, we did not support it. But on this particular property, the amount of time it's languished, looking almost abandoned, given all the information considered and in discussions with the staff, it sure seems like this business is a fit for this property at this time. It doesn't hurt that the plans for the design exterior is actually quite attractive. The applicant's proposed development would relocate an existing business from DuPage County to LaGrange, bringing up to, as we said, 11 full-time employee positions within 3 years. Proposed business will additionally generate approximately $10,000 in annual sales tax. Granting the 6B incentive would result in more property tax revenue than was received in 2019, when the building was last occupied, and more than is being collected now based on the building's vacant status. On this 6B, I'm in favor and concur with the staff that Class B, 6B incentive is necessary for the proposed development to occur. So I would motion to approve that this attached resolution of support for the Class 6B classification application be approved. Thank you.
Second.
Thank you, Trustee Augustin and Trustee Kucinek. Any discussion regarding this? Trustee Gale.
It's more of a, I'm not sure if it's charity or who, it's kind of more of an academic question. I read in the packet like the railroad tracks bifurcate the property, yet it seems like we're only talking about the property south of the tracks. I don't know if you can explain.
So the railroad tracks don't bifurcate the site. We do have an arrangement, though, that's been in place since the 1960s, I believe, whereby the Village Public Works Department crosses the property, and then in return, we've allowed the property owner to use a portion of the village's property for parking on the south end of the lot. So we would look to formalize that agreement with whomever purchases the property to ensure that that mutually beneficial arrangement continues in the future.
Okay. Okay, great. Thanks. And then, Lou, can you sort of explain, I know Trustee Augustine touched on it, but can you explain how the property tax levy applies and how, if, our levy stays the same, but if we have this property on the rolls, then it means everybody pays a little bit less.
Correct. So as was stated in the report, the village actually levies on a dollar amount, not on a tax rate. So whenever there's any individual decrease in a property, it's allocated across the rest of the village. So any decrease, although in this particular case, we're talking about an increase in the property tax, so actually would be just the opposite. But yes, everything is leveled out evenly across the rest of the village when there's any kind of change in an individual property assessment.
All right, thanks.
It's my understanding that somebody from Whole Cubes is here today, and maybe they can come and just tell the board and our residents listening at home a little bit about the business.
Good evening. I'm Joel Stein with Whole Cubes, and I'm the applicant. Whole Cubes is an office furniture dealership that I've had for coming up on 13 years. We've been in Addison for 5. And looking for a proper home in a good community. Long term, we've been renting for years, and this was a good opportunity for us. I'm 3rd generation office furniture. I literally know nothing else besides office furniture. As a matter of fact, my very good friend, Gary Davidson, who's a resident here in Grange, was my customer years ago, 20-some years ago, and was my project manager when I started Whole Cubes. He's no longer able to work, but resides here near downtown. Looking forward to being closer to him and looking forward to being part of the community here.
Thank you, Mr. Stein. And
sure.
Any other comments or questions? I appreciate your investment in LaGrange. I know the board is excited. And at this time, I would ask Clerk Saladino for a roll call vote.
Trustee O'Brien.
Aye.
Trustee McGee.
Aye.
Trustee Gale.
Aye.
Trustee Peterson. Trustee Katina.
Aye.
Trustee Augustine.
Aye.
And that passes unanimously. Again, Mr. Stein, thank you for your investment in LaGrange. We're looking forward to the improvements to both the interior and exterior of the property, and are excited to have you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone.
And that concludes the current business. At this time, I would ask if there's anybody in the public that would like to address the board on matters that are not on tonight's agenda.
Good evening. My name is Kathleen Dean, and I live on the southwest corner of Ashland and Cossett Avenues. I have lived here for 34 years. I'm here tonight to tell you about Mr. Russell Davenport. Mr. Davenport is the Assistant Director of Public Works for the village. Mr. Davenport is to be commended and acknowledged for his responsiveness and a job well done recently regarding some tree trimming services. Mr. Davenport was very responsible, polite, and courteous. He gets things done. The village is so fortunate to have him on our team. Let me tell you why I'm talking about Mr. Davenport. But first, some background information is needed. There are 3 stately and beautiful elm trees located on the parkway on Ashland Avenue. 2 are on the east side of the street on the Methodist Church Parkway, and 1 is on the west side of Ashland on the parkway. The other elm tree is on the parkway on Cossett Avenue, midway between Ashland and Catherine Avenues. None of these trees are on my property. To prevent Dutch elm disease, it helps to treat elm trees with Arbortec, an expensive treatment. On average, It costs approximately $650 per tree. Since the mid-90s, my husband and I have personally paid to have all of these elm trees professionally treated. The trees need to be treated every 3 years. I figure that to date, we have personally spent approximately $21,600 to help preserve these trees, and we are prepared to continue to pay to treat them. It is important to make sure that the trees are trimmed periodically to remove dead wood. With elm trees, they must be trimmed only during the winter months. Excuse me. On January 5th, 2023, I called the village to obtain a date on which the village would trim the elm trees and one maple tree on Cosset Avenue. In short, for 2 months, from January 5th, 2023 to March 6th, 2023, I had to frequently call and follow up with the village to obtain a date. I was simply trying to get a tree trimming date. For 2 months, that date was never provided to me. That date wasn't provided to me until Mr. Davenport got involved. He provided it to me on the date he got involved, which was March 6th. The trees were trimmed on March 7th and March 8th. Mr. Davenport is to be commended and acknowledged for his responsiveness and exemplary work. He is effective, and like I said, he gets things done. He is very responsible, polite, and courteous. The village is so fortunate, again, to have him on our team. Many thanks to Mr. Davenport, and many thanks to his tree trimming team, Giovanni, Milo, Rodrigo, and Sam, for a job well done. I have a copy of emails regarding the events during the period January 5th to March 6th. I have a copy for the village president, the village clerk, and a copy for each trustee. I can hand them to you now.
Sure, that'd be great.
So again, thank you very much, and a job well done to Mr. Davenport and his team. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Dean. Thank you for your and your husband's investment in our urban forest. It is appreciated. There aren't many elms left due to the Dutch elm disease, and we do appreciate your effort to save or attempt to save the remaining ones. I could not agree with you more that we are fortunate to have Russell on our team. We definitely think very highly of him, and we appreciate you coming out, though, to remind us about how important he is to our community.
And not to get into too many details, but I hope we have a good succession plan for Russell.
Well, he has pretty big shoes to fill, but...
it is. He's been with the village 35 years.
Right, but we're working on it. And we have great people in the department. I know Director Colby takes succession planning seriously. But again, Russell, when Russell decides to retire, he will be a tough one to replace.
Yeah, he's a great guy. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Seeing no other public comments, I would ask if there's any trustee comments. Trustee Augustine.
Thank you. Thank you, President Kukler. I was going to mention the CCLG event, but you mentioned that, so thank you. It's a great every other year event for residents to come and meet the candidates who are running for offices in LaGrange. The other thing I wanted to mention, I've mentioned at the last couple meetings, and it bears repeating, and that is the blasts from the quarry. They continue like clockwork. That's expected. But what has changed is the level of engagement and awareness in this community. That is growing. That is growing quickly. And since raising the issue in October, the Lyons Township Quarry Information / Underground Blasting at McCook Facebook page added 61 members. And then since the last board meeting, 43 more, in addition to a number throughout the last couple of years. But the difference in us discussing this in some of the local papers covering this has meant more community members now kind of understand what's happening and are willing to become a part of this group to hopefully get some change. We think that the call volume has been going up, and we'll find out when we hear from hopefully Village Manager Knight after the next Corey meeting that will be your first, how many more calls they've received, and hopefully we can share that. I don't think that even if every single person in LaGrange called, and Brookfield and Countryside who feels it would make much difference, but I think it's important. We know it's important to do. And we hope that people keep calling. But joining the Facebook group is important. It's making a difference. It's putting a group together that can discuss plans to figure out how to minimize the impact on our homes. And one last reminder, because for those of you who don't feel it, you're lucky. For those of you who do, you know that damage in some way is being done to your home. So it's a big deal. For many of us, this is our most valuable asset. These quarry blasts we're not talking about the blasts that they've been doing for a generation. Again, this is subterranean blasting. It's deeper, it's felt differently, and it feels a lot worse to people, and it can be quite scary to some. So I want to just encourage that you call. I want to encourage that you join that Facebook page and see how you can help. One of the members of this group, the administrator, probably doesn't want me to call her out, but she's been wonderful. Her name's Virginia Delaney. She's a LaGrange resident, and she's been moderating this group for a while and doing great work, and she printed out some cards for me. So if anyone needs a reminder of this long-named Facebook group to join, let me know. I'll hand those out to you. But we do hope to continue to see articles discussing this and more people joining, and hopefully some movement to, at the very least, get the blasting to be done in different parts of this subterranean mine at different levels, possibly less blasting materials, so that our homes and roads and businesses can see less impact. So thank you for listening to that.
Thank you, Trustee Augustine. Any other trustee comments? Seeing none, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
And all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And the meeting is adjourned at 8:13. Again, we are going to cancel the next regularly scheduled meeting and be back here the second Monday in April. Thank you.
It's like, if there's like 5 people. It's like, I don't feel like I don't do anything as a trustee. I'm a pastor. It's like, and it's almost like that's what they say pastors are preaching. And I was going to say, yeah, you got to keep